And joining us now is Lieutenant General Richard Newton, former Assistant Vice Chief of Staff for the U.S. Air Force. Thanks for being with us once again. What were the biggest things that came out of the NATO Summit and the President's visit to Poland, aside from the gaffe?
Yeah, well, good evening, Rudy Bay. Again, the first and foremost thing that came out of his European trip was certainly seeing U.S.-led NATO in very, very unified. And I think that is not only is that good, obviously, for the NATO alliance, but it's also good for the rest of the free world, for that matter, but also a boost, I would hope, to President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people who are going through, as Mark reported, just the harshest attacks you can imagine. But we have a unified NATO. I think there are clear signals to Putin that, again, our resolve is stiffened even more so, and that we stand with President Zelensky.
And let's talk about President Biden's comments that we've been reporting on, saying Putin cannot stay in power, and then the White House, of course, walking that back. Was that just a slip of the tongue, or is that telling?
No, I believe it was. I think, by the way, unfortunately, that was a terrific speech. That was one of the strongest speeches I've heard President Biden give, frankly, since he's been in office. But I believe it was, again, how you are able to manage the narrative and so forth. And he did go off script right at the end, which has really created a dilemma for the administration, but also for our European allies. President Macron earlier today had to kind of walk that back as well. So it's not just the White House having to walk it back. It's the rest of our European friends and allies as well. But nonetheless, again, I'm hoping that in the next couple of days that will kind of go in the background, because this was a successful trip for our president. It was a successful trip for the NATO alliance, as well as the European Union. So it's much needed. But now what is really needed beyond, trying to differentiate between what he effectively said at the end of a speech or not, it's really now, how do we more effectively come to the assistance of Ukraine? Now that the shift has occurred, I believe in momentum is favoring the Ukrainians right now. They're actually beginning to get on the offensive. And so now we need to start talking about not appeasement, but talk about winning.
Yeah, and Ukraine has that momentum you've been talking about. They've even taken back several cities from the Russian. They're still holding Kyiv, surprisingly, to a lot of the world. How important is that in a world like this? And do you see it holding?
Well, I think what I would tell our viewers is, first off, and the American people for that matter, this is not really going to be a conflict that's going to be resolved in the next couple of days, much less the next couple of weeks. We have to think in terms of months first. But what's happening is, Marky reported with regard to Kharkiv and so forth, and now I would also report that, as well as Mariupol down to the south, is really under tremendous artillery barrage and siege. And that's key. If Mariupol falls, and I'm not predicting it falling imminently, but say in the next several days will be critical, that if Mariupol falls, then that's going to create that potential land bridge from Russia down through Crimea, which is really something that is a key objective of Putin. But nonetheless, the Ukrainian people are going to be taking this more and more on the chin. It's going to be more and more atrocities, because Putin really has, he's got the capability, not necessarily in precision fires, but in terms of really, again, indiscriminate bombing. Those are his tools that he's using to try to, again, continue to frighten the Ukrainian people, but it's stiffening their resolve. And so, but what I believe is going to happen in the next several days is going to be the continuing, really, it's going to be a bloody quagmire. It'll be somewhat of a stalemate, but again, the momentum has swung to the Ukrainians. And now this is when the United States and NATO and other partners need to really bring in, really much more capable military systems such as MiG-29s, S-300 anti-aircraft missiles and so forth, and other more advanced hardware. But that's something we can talk about later. But nonetheless, significant shift here. Let's give President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people much credit here.
Absolutely. Lieutenant General Newton, thank you. We'll check back in with you again. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.